Hello and welcome to the GrapeSEED Official Podcast. Friend of the show, Miklos, is back for another This and That episode.
Yes, and I am very happy to be here.
So today's topic is why teach GrapeSEED? What makes GrapeSEED so special? And you might be thinking, okay, this is episode number 54. We're many episodes in. Why are we doing this more general topic? And I think it's important because in your day-to-day preparations as a teacher, you're looking at the next lesson plan. You're trying to remember what questions to ask. You're trying to remember that song for starting the next unit. You kind of get lost in the weeds a little bit. You're so focused on the details of the day-to-day that you might not zoom out enough and really think about what we're doing as a whole. And we really are doing something special here with GrapeSEED, and we want to dive into that a little bit. What makes GrapeSEED so special compared to some other things? So Miklos and I think by this point, you know that both of us are very passionate about the GrapeSEED curriculum. Miklos may be the most passionate of anybody.
I know some folks who are more passionate about GrapeSEED.
Okay, we'll have a battle royale at some point in the future.
Some of your guests, I shouldn't say some, I should say pretty much all of your guests that you have on this podcast are passionate about GrapeSEED. And the great thing about it is that their passions come from a different place. And I love listening to everyone's perspectives and ideas, and because everybody that you have on this program has that passion and expresses it, and it's all of that put together is what equals what GrapeSEED is.
All of those stories plus the design of the curriculum that we've really been talking about in videos on the platform as well as this podcast, I think those combine to really make GrapeSEED special. So we're going to pop the hood here in this podcast, take a look at some of those facets in the design that make GrapeSEED really great, and kind of reaffirm as a global community of teachers what we're doing and why it's so special. So first up, affective filter.
Yes, affective filter.
Your biggest thing that you love the most in the whole world?
Well, it's a second behind my affinity for comprehensible input.
Okay.
But yeah, affective filter is something that when you have a high affective filter, and I'm guessing for most things, if you have a high affective filter for whatever task it is that you're attempting to do, you're probably not going to be as good at doing it because you're going to be all stressed out and worried and fearful for the outcome.
Same with our students.
Yeah, exactly. Like
if English class is this scary, stressful place where they need to say things perfectly or they need to sit at rapt attention for 40 minutes straight, then their affective filters will be higher, and most of the learning that you're doing, or most of the teaching that you're doing, won't get through to them as well.
Yeah. Whenever I talk with, in my role as a GrapeSEED evangelist here, my role is talking with parents. I do parent presentations all the time. These days online, of course, and I have the same conversation all the time. Parents. One of the biggest frequently asked questions is how do I get my kids to do REP more? I describe it to parents to give an image as like a brick wall. That's and you have a brick layer, and for everything, like when your mom gets mad at you, put one more brick on that wall. There's I don't understand what this guy said in English. My dad keeps asking me like, how do you say this in English? And that's making me stressed out. Like, I don't know how to answer his question. So it's another brick on that wall, and it gets higher and higher. And it could be things that are not even. It could be other things too, like my stomach hurts today. That's another brick on that wall. And your affective filter gets higher and higher, and then nothing goes through it. But if you take those bricks away, and they naturally their default setting is joy. It's up to us to mess with that. So if you just let them be. And provide an environment, which GrapeSEED does, and let kids be joyful in that environment, and other stuff too, of course. But that's in large part that's where the magic comes from, and you don't have to try very hard to acquire language. It will happen naturally if you let GrapeSEED do its thing. We have to make that happen, but that's what makes it special to me in part.
I like your bricklaying analogy because you're talking specifically about at-home REP usage, but even in the classroom it applies as well. So
totally.
If you're a teacher coming into class and you're not set up properly, and
Oh,
your
yeah.
students feel awkward in the beginning of the lesson, you're putting one brick down.
Yeah.
If you're not smiling or you're stressed about something from your own personal life in the classroom, that's another brick. So the same kind of thinking that Miklos is talking about with parents at home and utilizing RAP applies in the classroom as well. Smile when your kids come in.
Yeah.
Usually a lot of lesson plans start with a song for this reason, is to kind of let everybody settle in, create a positive environment from the get-go
Yeah.
to start off on the right foot. And if you do that properly, you're removing any bricks that your students might have pent up from maybe the previous class they were just in, or something from home, or even something you did earlier in the lesson. You're removing those bricks, removing the barrier for the learning to get through to your students. So
Yeah.
yeah.
If you have that wall that's made up of negative feelings, whether it's stress and fear and worry and things like that, then you can sit in an environment full of that important, comprehensible input all day long, and none of it's going to get to you.
Goodbye, my friends, goodbye. I'm sad to say goodbye. It was a good day, but now I will say goodbye, my friends, goodbye. Goodbye, everyone.